Hey guys, I'm back again for another critique video. I've done a critique video once a week now, every Wednesday for about 6 weeks, 6 or 7 weeks. Um, and as I prefaced in the other videos, I'm not trying to pick on a homeowner. I'm not trying to make a DIY person feel bad about what they're doing if they're making mistakes. But most of the people I've critiqued so far are YouTubers, and some of them are quite big YouTubers. And so my pushback has to do with misinformation, where they have hundreds of thousands of views on a video where things are said or done wrong. And I'm trying to protect the homeowners out there from making the same mistakes that they made. I had a couple of comments on my last video. I think one guy said, I used to follow you, or I used to be subscribed to you, and now I'm not anymore because it's some kind of person to pick on somebody else. And I'm like, well, you didn't listen to my intro, apparently. And more importantly, I don't care about subscribers. Just unsubscribe and don't let the door hit you in the ass, because I don't make no money off of YouTube. One of the things about YouTube, the algorithm and how people get famous or YouTube famous is they're so nice and thank you and I love you at the end of their videos. It's a weird space. They want to make sure that they have as many subscribers and as many eyes on their video as possible so Google can pay them and pump up their money. Speaking of pump up their money, we're going to talk about that on this video. And I don't have any. I don't have any. There's no that I have a lot of subscribers. That's fantastic. And if I had 1 million subscribers, that'd be wonderful. If I had 10 million, I still don't get paid from YouTube. So to that guy who commented about, oh, you're not very nice. I'm not here to be nice, and sorry I hurt your feelings. Well, I'm not really sorry. Anyway, getting on to bigger and better things. So these guys, their channel is kind of smallish, biggish in a weird kind of way. They're kind of DIY guys, who go in and do what they can on their own, and then they sub out some of the work. So they subbed out some of the electrical. I think they did some of the plumbing, but they didn't really give any information, right? So they put music in the background. And the music in the background doesn't tell you a whole lot, and they fast forward the video. The whole video is 7 minutes long. I stretched it out because I slowed it down because I want to kind of, hit all the little places that I want to hit. So I slowed it down and I took out the music. So I'm just going to talk behind it because there was nothing to say because they didn't say anything. But they did an okay job. They did an okay job. Some of their methods I disagree with. Some of their methods are well, anyway, watch for yourself. I'm gonna I'm gonna quit talking. I'm gonna be talking enough. This is gonna be a 40-minute long video or better. So let me play this. Go ahead. They are renovating this bathroom, so they're going to take everything out. Obviously, they take the toilet and the shower and the sink and like take everything out of there. That's a good cut right at the baseboard, so you don't peel off the paint. That's a good idea to do that. And this is kind of trippy. This VCT, this fake wood flooring, is going to come up. Yep, turn off the power when you play with electricity. Is going to come up and they're going to find tile up under it. So it's already been renovated once with a plastic shower. Well, I call it plastic because I don't like them. They're fiberglass. Oh, this one's panels. I forgot. And the panels are kind of funny because we were doing panels like that back in the 80s. Like we were taking apart showers that had panels. And nowadays, what are we doing? We're doing the big giant, some of them are 8 foot tall, 4 foot wide tile, and they're not tile anymore. They're panels. They're exactly what we're taking out when we were taking out these panels back in the day. And I'm sure some people are still doing them. I run across them once in a while. I think he broke that one, but yeah, they're 3 panels around a wall, and that's what tiles become, just big giant panels. Like we're going back in time 30 years. Makes no sense. And then, yeah, the grain board that was glued, or the panels that were glued over the grain board. Yeah, beat it up. Make sure you show all that beaten up and all that stuff. Yeah, they're gonna take out this wall. This wall was only there because of the fiberglass shower, and so they're opening up the bathroom, which is a wonderful idea. Look at all this fake flooring, and then they have a little cushion, the mat up under it, and then voila, tile that never came up. And now they're taking it up. And it wasn't even laid that well. Like you can not even see a lot of the, I mean, see those three tile, they came up all together. That's how you kind of know, watch this. That's how you kind of know that the tile weren't laid very well because literally the tile are staying in place because of, watch this. All three of those tile came up at once, because of the grout. So, yeah, it needed to go anyway. And then they're busting up the, and the thing is, like, all the work they went through to get to this drain just so they could refashion it exactly where it's at again, kinda doesn't make any sense, but whatever. Yeah, they could have done that from the cutout that was already there. And then they're putting a Schluter tray down here, and this is what kind of trips me out about this job because they're a little bit redundant on some of the work they're doing. There's a niche. That's how I do them too. A lot of people like the what do you call it? The prefab niches. I really don't like them. I've had to put them in a few times because my customer bought them, but I prefer to build my own because you can make it bigger than what they sell. One of the things that I really like about this guy, like on the last video I did, where they're sweating copper because everyone's going to PEX now, and it's like it's an old-fashioned type of thing. It seems like now. The problem that I have is that you'll see he puts heat literally on the pipe and what he's trying to heat up. So the proper way to sweat pipe when you're trying to draw the solder up into a thing, which in this case is a drop L, you put the heat on the drop L because the solder wants to follow the heat. So on all three occasions here, he's not doing that. This is one of them. This is another one. See, where he should be putting the heat is not right on the pipe and the brass. He should be putting the heat on the brass to the right of where he's putting it. Small potatoes, but I thought I'd mention it because it's the wrong way to sweat. Again, like right on the pipe and right on the heat could have gone right on that elbow, just a little bit above and to the right. The heat should have gone on that elbow, and then yeah. Anyway, small potatoes, but I thought I'd mention it. This is another thing I don't like. Believe it or not, those pipes are literally already inside because I checked the video like 2 or 3 times to make sure I was right on this. This pipe is literally plumbed into those angle stops, and the angle stops are there, like, already. No, you don't put heat on those, and they're in the open position so that it can, like, all the smoke and heat can go out of those braided lines that they have, but no, you're gonna ruin even though it's a ball stop that's in there, that ball stop is plastic, and you don't wanna ruin that, so you're not sweating with the angle stops already attached, but they did, and I don't know why he's putting flux all over it, doesn't make any sense. I think it's a way he can clean the pipe afterward, but yeah, too much flux is not good. And then this is a sub where they did the electrical. They subbed out the electrical, and now they're going to fill in that hole where they brought up the pipe. The ABS pipe could have already been accessed from where it was. They didn't have to jackhammer all that stuff out, but okay. And this is really kind of weird. Like these guys are work. These guys are obviously bodybuilders or whatever, and so they're kind of working without a shirt on, um, which is kind of weird. This is kind of weird too, right? So he puts a Schluter pan in, right? And then he puts the Schluter, um, the drain flange on it, and then he's just kind of screeding out with his finger to piece the pipe to piece the two together. Anyway, that kind of caught me off guard. And these collars that go on there, here's an issue that I have with Schluter mainly. And this Curdy collar that he's putting onto the Schluter pan is glued on there with thin set. And you're going to see later on where he tapes all the seams with thin set. And thin set is not waterproof. And the biggest problem I've had since I ever saw my very first Schluter video is you're gluing all this stuff with something that's not so you're trying to make a waterproof shower, right? But you're using all the seams with thin set where water could get into. And I think Isaac has even showed where sometimes it does get into there. And I just don't like that. So I overlap it with the waterproofer. And that's just me. Yeah, it looks nice and neat. This guy. Both of them actually. Oh, look at the gym. Yes, they belong to a gym. He's got a t-shirt on there. You could call him 701-280-3623, something like that. That's crazy. Like, okay, you're professional bodybuilders building your shower. Uh, and then they're building their curb the same way that I talked about on the last video that I did. They're building their curb out of concrete blocks, bricks, whatever. It doesn't make your shower better. I don't know what this mantra is about. Hey, if I make my bench out of cinder block and if I make my, doing all that stuff at the end of the day when you're waterproofing everything doesn't make anything better. It doesn't. It literally doesn't. And this is on a slab, so they could easily use pressure treated wood and nailed it down with a bang gun. You easily have done that rather than, screeding out mortar and all this stuff and gluing their brick to the floor. Having said that, unlike my last video where it was a wood subfloor, at least this is a concrete basement type of floor. So yeah, they would stick a lot better on the concrete than they would on a wood floor. But here they're going around patching all these seams everywhere with this tape, with this Schluter, with this Curdy tape, everywhere, everywhere, with thin set. And so water gets up under, those pieces and wicks into the thin set and messes everything up. And I don't know what the purpose is. But yeah, this is the sub guy. So this is a large format tile. These guys crap me up. This is a extra large format tile that they're cutting. And watch this. And I checked to make sure they back buttered that piece, right? Because I'm going to slow it. Let's see if I can go back here again. So they're using an angle grinder to cut these pieces. Man, you have to have a steady hand to get a nice cut unless you set up some type of fence. But you have to have a really, really steady hand. And I don't even see somebody holding that other piece that's going to drop. But yeah, an angle grinder on a large format, extra large format tile like that, when those things can run easily $50, $80, $100 a piece or more. Yeah, but they back buttered that piece because I had to go back and double check that they did it. But here's another issue that I take. The leveling clips, the same little garbage quip. Let me go back up here. The little yellow quip leveling clip system is what they're using on here. And I think they're going to show it again right there. Right where his right hand is at and his left hand, you can see him. I don't know why you would go to the expense of buying this extra large format tile and then use the crappiest leveling clips you could ever buy. And they're very small. They're not meant for a large format tile like that. So it's a side note, and I guess it did work, but it's like they could have done better. As much as they spend on all the Curdy and Schluter and all that stuff, spend a little bit more on your clips. But here's the funny part too. On a DeWalt saw, and these to me look like 4 foot. They could be 5 foot. I think they're 5 foot long pieces. A 5 foot long piece on a DeWalt saw. Oh my God. Like you could never do that. That's one of the reasons that I push back, because they should have said, hey, if you want to do this, you can put something up at the front of the tile to make up the difference of where, the front of your tray starts, because right where your movable tray is at, it's complicated. I'm not going to get into all the specifics, but you're going to need a radial saw. You're going to need a large radial saw in order to cut these properly. That they did it on a DeWalt saw, I would never ever try that, because again, you're going to break stuff and not really get the kind of cuts that they're getting. Is that a 5 foot or 4 foot? I think those are 4 foot tile. Get it in there. Both of them, get it in there with your muscle shirts on.
Hello, let us begin by introducing ourselves. I am Hans.
I'm Dan France.
And we want to pump you up.
Sorry, I had to throw that in there. Yeah. And stepping right in the thin set too, that was pretty funny. You know, it work smarter, not harder kind of comes to mind. You know, these leveling clips, again, you know, let me go back to that real quick. If any of you guys are watching this that are planning on doing your own tile job and you're doing either a large 12 by 24 or larger like they are, and it might be a 3-foot tile. I think I messed up by saying a 4-foot. Well, it might be 4 foot and they took off a foot. These leveling clips are garbage. Don't ever buy them. Spend a little bit more money on your leveling clips. You'll be happier. Trust me, and it'll come out better. And here's these boards kind of trip me out because what I see on the back of it when he actually puts it on there, you're going to see USG. It's a USG product, and I thought they were foam boards because the way that they're fastening, the fasteners that they're using is for foam board. And so I thought it was foam board, but it says Durarock on there, but I've never seen black Durarock. So, and then I see the edge, the right edge down at the bottom. Oh, no, that's not green. That's their level. That's their laser level. If anybody knows what this board is, you know, like hit me, put it in the comment section because I have never seen a USG Durarock foam board. But if I go forward, you're going to see how they attach these boards before they hit it with all this tape again. All this tape, all this tape, all this tape. For what? I don't get it. Yeah, tape all that niche. You're gonna have a water failure. The corners, yeah, hit those corners with that tape. Forget that you have a foam pan. Forget the, oh, I don't know. It kind of trips me out. That they are a collar around the valve. I never understood collar around the valve. Valves don't leak. Water doesn't get behind the valve, guys. It really doesn't. I'm telling you what I know. It used to when we had washers and seats and things like that, and you know, packing in valves, but water doesn't do that anymore with the type of valves that we have. I don't know why people are so focused on the wrong thing. And then this is what trips me out. They're red guarding over all of this backer board. Where is that clip at? I don't know. Let me see if I can see the clip set where they put the clips in. Yeah, see the clips. You're going to see them. They don't show a lot of them, but you see between the boards right there. Those are the type of clips you would use with a foam board. And then you see where his head is at, where it says Durarock, but it's black. And then the edges where the niche is at are white. So it's, I don't know what's going on here. But if it is in fact foam board, then the next portion of what they're showing, because it clearly says USG Durarock on it. See that sign right in the niche? So I don't really understand. If somebody knows what this board is, let me know. But then they're going to go forward with red guarding the entirety. Now, I do agree that all of those seams, all of those tape areas where the thin set was used, yes, I overlap. But the entirety, the foam pan, the curb, outside, inside, everything. This shower will not leak. This shower will not leak. I think they probably did 2 coats, but they're not showing it. But it worked. It worked, you know. That's all I can say. Yeah, they're doing the entire bathroom, so I'm gonna skip forward, see if I can get some of the more of the shower in here. The tile work, and they should be using an angle grinder on this. Oh, okay, yeah. So what they're doing is the same large format tile, they're using envelope cut for the shower. And then they realize they've got to cut off a little bit more. They got to make another line. But it's a good idea. I mean, for a small shower to have an envelope cut on a extra large format tile is a good idea. I don't have a problem with that. Except for the thin set, just like all over the place. I don't really have much to say here. And then the crown jewel right on top. That's a pretty good job for what they oh, yeah, look at that, they're making miter cuts. Where's the miter cut gonna go? Oh, right there on the curb. Perfect. Let me go back to that again because I don't know where the miter cut exactly was on the curb, if it was on the top, if it's gonna go on the top or if it's on the bottom. Oh, it's on the corner. Okay. So now what are they gonna do on the top? I'm curious about that. I did watch it once before, but I kind of sped through it. So the miter cut on the corner was a great idea. I hope they did it on the inside too. Will look sharp. So they're going to use the same field tile on the top of the curb. Okay, because they want the lines to all match up. That's probably the reason why. Although I still prefer like a contiguous top, whether it be, it doesn't. In this case, they could have used marble, um, or they do have the fake marble white ones that they could have used too. Okay, okay, they overlap the wall tile onto the curb. Good job. Did they back butter? I don't know if they back butter the wall. Let me go back on here. Yeah, they did back butter the wall. They're actually pretty good at getting their measurements for the holes right. You know, like I don't have an issue with that at all. Okay, see the Schluter? Because I didn't see that before. They're lining up the tile with the Schluter, and this is one of the things that I take issue with. I put in my Schluter afterward because you never know exactly like that the tile are going to line up perfect as well as you put lasers and levels and all that stuff on the tile. I'm lining up my tile as I set my tile on the wall all the way up to the ceiling, and I leave a gap of about an inch where no thin set is at the very end of that, right? And then at the end of the job, then I can backfill thin set into that little inch gap that I left, and then put my Schluter in there, so that regardless and despite if my tile is slightly off one way or the other, and I mean slightly, it could be an eighth of an inch or quarter of an inch off as it goes up the wall, it would not matter. If you do the Schluter piece first, then you're constantly trying to line up your tile and shaving off and shaving off and shaving off pieces as you go up. You know, in this case, I think they only have 3 tiles to shave, but still, it's easier. You know, I've just always done it that way, retroactively setting my strip rather than doing it as I bring up my tile. So they're see, they go so fast on here. I don't even know if they back buttered this other wall. I guess they did. They go so fast. Okay. I like the overlap with the shower and the grain board. I like that they overlapped it. See, now they have the right clips. So I don't know what happened between doing the floor, which I would have done the floor last. That's just me. The outside of the shower floor is what I'm saying. I would have done that last, but they started out with the little tiny Quep ones, and now they got the larger ones, and that still may be made by Quep because they are yellow, but I don't know. And then right above him on the right side, I believe that's the smaller ones, isn't it? I think that's the smaller ones above his head up on the top left corner, not on the right hand side. On the right side is the larger wedges and clips, but I think, anyway, doesn't really matter. I mean, it turned out the way they wanted to. It's very masculine. It's a concrete looking tile, and I don't know that I would have chosen that like for myself. It would be something if you're looking at a concrete wall all the time, that's what it kind of reminds me of. And I think at the end they had an opposing grout, like they didn't try and match that. That would have been like DeLorean gray or something that I would have used, but I don't think they ended up doing that. And here's your Schluter strips. So they're going to trim out. And yeah, you can actually cut on a tile saw. You can cut 45s and stuff like that on a tile saw. I don't. I use a chop saw, but that's just me. And they're putting in an LED light in the back, which is a good idea. I don't know why. It's just kind of a showpiece. It doesn't do anything for you. I have an LED in my niche and I never turn the light on. So I don't, I put it in there for somebody else because eventually somebody else is going to own my house. I don't like that color of the tile, but I think it kind of is going to blend into some of the other stuff later on. So, it's one way. A chop saw is usually how I cut my Schluter, but whatever works for you. Yes. And now they're plunge cutting. Perfect. Love that. Let's see that again. I love that. They plunge cut where the light fixture is going to be. Watch this. Boom. Love that. Good job, guys. And how are they going? Oh, they got a saw for that. Yeah, they spent money on a saw. The hole saw. Those things are a bit pricey. And here they use the larger clips again, the larger wedges and clips. I'm still confused why they didn't use them on the floor though. This is another good idea. The way we used to do baseboard tile back in the day, right where he's sliding that Schluter strip into, we used to like taper that off with grout, and it looked really fugly. And that's the only thing we could do because we didn't know anything else. There became a time where I would actually bullnose those pieces if I'm going to use a base tile like that. I don't use base tile anymore. If somebody wanted it, I suppose I still could do it, but we're not really doing that. But that's a really good idea to use Schluter to trim that off at the top. So I think we're getting near the end. The grout time. Oh yeah. So they're mixing a lot of grout, and I believe that bag is Prism, which is the same grout that I use because it comes 2 bags in a box. And I think they mix the whole bag, which is a lot of grout. They ended up throwing a lot away. I wish Prism would come up with like 1 bag instead of 2 bags in a box. It's just a waste. I don't like the black grout. I don't like the charcoal grout on the walls. I don't like that contrast, but that's just me. There's a lot of stuff barefoot grouting. Okay. There's a lot of stuff about this final that I don't like. And I guess it's well, I know it's very subjective because there are some people that are going to like it. Obviously, they did. There's a lot of color variants. They've got a gold fixture. So all the trim is gold. And then they have a brownish niche tile and a brownish vanity. There's a lot of color combinations here. Um, I don't know what to make of that. Let me blow this up by itself so you guys can look at it. I don't know. The only thing black in there is the sconce light. Well, it's kind of a elongated sconce above the vanity mirror. Then they got a gold fixture for the shower and the shower head and a gold fixture for the sink. But what matches the gold? I think the tile inside the niche, and nothing matches the vanity. And then they have a different color of the floor tile. No, it is the same color of the floor tile. It looked like it was a different color before. I don't know what to make of that. I don't know. It's a great job though. I mean, if they're truly DIYer guys, right? Um, if they're truly DIY guys, oh, there is a difference. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I knew there was a difference in the coloration. See the coloration of the floor, right? From the shower, it's a darker tile. See on that right side? Or maybe that's the lighting. That's not the lighting. I'm gonna have to go back to that again because I think there are 2 different colors on the floor. I just don't see things matching. I'm sorry. I don't see it. It's a good job. It's a good job. See that I think it's the lighting, but I think that back tile is matching up to the color of the floor tile inside of the shower, and then the other tile is lighter. I don't know. Um, I don't know what to think. And here's one of the things, just kind of a last thought. See the shower glass? So you have two panels because obviously you're not really going to get any spray going at the corner. But here's the issue. If somebody wants to go with a shower door later on, one of those panels has to go in the garbage. My bad. Both of them have to go in the garbage because neither one of them are usable. On that front side where the vanity is at would be the best place to have a solid panel. And then where the toilet's at, that panel would be a smaller panel and a door. So that glass is very, very specific to that shower. Like, you could never reuse that glass for any other purpose. But the trim on the glass is black. So now we have something to match the light. See that? The trim on the glass and the light are black. So voila. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm ambivalent about it. If somebody handed me the keys to that house and said, hey, this house is yours, no charge, and this is the master bathroom, would I be happy with that? Man, I don't know. It's a weird combination of colors. It really is. Just my personal opinion. But, you know, at the end of the day, there wasn't a lot of critique. I didn't find a lot of mistakes on the building process, only because of the redundancy that they did with all their Schluter and then red guarded over it. If they're going to spend the money, which they did on the Schluter and the large format tile and all this other stuff, which they did spend a boatload of money on the material, then why not use, like, I don't know, like Ardex? Okay, so let me make this clear. And I'm going to do a video coming up very, very soon on RedGuard because I've gotten some pushback lately from some other people about my RedGuard usage. Oh, RedGuard degrades after time. Well, how would you know that, first of all? Second of all, it doesn't stick to pan liner. Yes, it most certainly does. It doesn't stick to silicone. Yes, it most certainly does. And I have an experiment video that I'm going to post pretty soon where I literally show RedGuard on pan liner, like outside of a shower. And yeah. So I'm going to show all that stuff, just one or two coats. I'm not going to slather it on like Isaac and some of the other people do. But one or two coats of RedGuard will work to make your shower water impenetrable. Having said that, I like Ardex. But Ardex is expensive and it's hard to come by. If they sold it at more places, I would grab that pail a lot quicker than RedGuard. The only reason I use RedGuard is it's sold at Home Depot. But if there was Ardex on the shelf and RedGuard, I would pick Ardex all the time. I like it because it's a little thicker. It has a little less fume. It still has the fume that RedGuard has, but it's not as strong. But they all work. That they RedGuarded over all of their Schluter, okay, no harm, no foul, but why the pan? Oh, I know why the pan, because of all the tape. But then the rest of the pan didn't need it. When I use Curdy, and I use Curdy for pan liner sometimes, and I wrap it over the curb and stuff, then every place I overlap, I always hit it with RedGuard because I don't trust the thin set to be waterproof because it's not. So I will hit the seams, but I don't know, they hit everything. And if somebody knows what that black USG board is that they use, put it in the description because I'm really curious if USG started coming out with a foam board. I don't think they have, but anyway, you guys would know better. But that's it. That's all I have for this week. Next week will be another video, so stay tuned for it. If you have any suggestions, if you've run across a video that maybe you want me to critique, drop it in the comment section, and I will have a look at it and see if there's anything that I can chime in on. This one wasn't really that much of a critique, as it's like, okay, these guys did a good job. Everything said and done, that shower will last until the next person comes along and says it's fugly like me, and then they'll get rid of it. But yeah, it'll last. Good job, guys. Hey, if you enjoyed that video and you learned something, consider being a Patreon member. $5, $10, $15 a month would help me greatly produce more videos. I make nothing from YouTube at all. If you're gonna call me for advice, please donate $50 for 30 minutes. My link to my PayPal and my Patreon account is down below. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you get immediate notifications as soon as I post videos. And thank you very much for your support.